Hello everyone, welcome to another wonderful speedrun. This time we're going to be playing the King's Gambit, the Scandinavian defense, and the Benoni defense. I'm probably most excited about this speedrun out of all of them. I've never played these openings. I mean, I've had a few games, but I don't know much about them. Um, so I'm going to be learning this along with you guys. We're going to be starting at, instead of 600 or 800, we're going to be starting at about 1200, just to get the most ridiculous games out of the way where they just blunder their queens and stuff. Um, so we could focus on more important things. So let's get a game with our new account. And we have black, so we're playing the Scandinavian and the Benoni. So here's the Scandinavian. We're rated 1194. He's rated 1152. We now recapture the pawn with our queen, helping white develop with tempo. We go to the a5 square, which is the main move, the most theoretical and critical line. And it just gets the queen out of the way, but tries to keep it somewhat active. So white develops another knight. He delays the pushing of the pawn to d4, which is fine. Let's develop our king's knight to its favorite square and look at the center. Now in the Scandinavian, we're going to want to bring our knight out, our bishop out, go e6, c6, develop our dark square bishop somewhere, and castle. So we're just keeping this setup in mind. Okay, so he brings his bishop out to c4, looking at the f7 square. We want to play e6, but we don't want to block in our light square bishop. So let's go bishop f5. We don't want to go bishop g4 because, like you've seen in my other speedruns from when we play white, when they go bishop g4, we play h3, g4, harassing the bishop, knight e5, and we get this momentum building. So we're going to go to f5 so that h3, doesn't do anything. He goes d3. Fair enough, it opens up his bishop. And now we can play e6, opening up our bishop, blunting his, and we have a nice position so far. He, White chose to go d3 instead of d4, so it's a little different than the main lines of the Scandinavian. He now goes bishop here with this x-ray so that his knight has potential discoveries. It's no big deal. Since we know what he's trying to do ahead of time. He probably wants to go knight d5, and when you move your queen somewhere, he can take here and double your pawns. It's not the end of the world, but you also don't have to allow it. So for example, we can go queen b6. We're not actually going to take the pawn. We're just prophylactically moving away. Now he might respond and defend it anyway, but we're not going to take it, because if you do take it, he moves his rook over and collapses your position. So he moves the bishop again to hit the queen. So he moved it again. We can develop our bishop, maybe. Can he kick us? Let's say he does and we move it out of the way, and then let's say he opens up on our queen again and the pawn. Maybe that's asking for a little bit too much trouble. c5 is quite interesting. Knight a4, hitting the queen and the pawn. Interesting response. Maybe queen a5 check. I'm going to go for that. Let's go c5. In the Scandinavian, after you're done fully developing your knight, your bishop, castling, and everything's nice and safe, you then play for c5 to contest his d4 pawn and contest his space advantage. But here, this guy never even played d4, so he doesn't have a central space advantage, and we have c5 in. So if anything, we're going to control the center better with our pawns. So he goes b3, not giving his bishop away back home and weakening the dark squares. Not sure what the point of that move is. Oh, he was just defending it, which is just kind of ridiculous, but fine. Because it wasn't actually hanging due to rook b1 resource. But now we get the turn back. And since we did play c5 and not c6, the knight can go to c6 instead of d7, which is interesting. So let's put it there and develop. We're not up anything, but I already prefer black, which is nice. So let's develop our dark square bishop. e7. e7 is interesting because if it ever gets to f6, this diagonal is kind of open and weak. I wonder if he could play d4 though on any of our moves. Maybe we should not allow d4, contesting our space advantage. So there is also rook d1 ideas. Then knight a4. Maybe I should preempt knight a4 because it's going to hit this twice. So what if I jump my knight in? Somewhat interesting. Let's say he goes knight a4, I move my queen. I don't know, c7 for argument's sake. I mean, that should be fine. So let's prevent d4 and prepare knight a4 all in one move. There probably weren't that many moves that could handle could take care of both ideas. This physically obstructs the pawn push and gives the queen, like if the knight was here and the queen went to c7, the knight would block the queen's defense. But the knight gets out of the way so the queen can see the pawn. He goes a4. I guess he wants to just gain some space, but I'm not worried about that at all. That takes away the square from the knight, so I'm not worried about that. Now that we have pressure on this knight, it is interesting to move our bishop, which is stifled, and pin the knight, as he can't bring his bishop back and break the pin. He might feel forced to take. We would take, hitting his knight. I kind of like that. There is also just bishop developing. So bishop developing or this pin. I may not get a second chance. I'm gonna go for the pin. Oh, he just kicks the bishop, but this. Wait, which way do we take? If we take with the knight and he takes with the pawn, can okay. And if we take with the knight and we take here, then we can take this pawn and hit the rook. So let's take with the knight with check. He has to take he has to take, or you just hang a piece, and then we can take here. So now we're up a pawn. His king is weaker. His structure's weaker. And now it's our turn again. If we could get the queen. See, the problem is you never have queen here. You have to be careful about that. This doesn't actually get the queen in. Let's get our king to safety first. Bishop e7, castles. Then we can do whatever we want because the position's kind of ruined for white. He has no plan, no counterplay. And he kind of collapsed his position by now. So he jumps his knight into the center. I don't see any specific threat. If we take it, we might help fix his pawns, which is not what we want. We should castle. Okay, he moves the knight again, attacks our bishop. Fine. We should move our bishop. We only have one square. Let's go there. And now we can put our queen on c6 because this is not a pin. Not that we want to right now, but I'm just saying. We can move our knight to the center, attack his bishop, his dark squares, his knight, as our queen still doesn't have like a clear path to the king or to the g file. Maybe at some point we play the e pawn to e5 so we have some access, but we'll see. It all depends. We're running low on time, but I'm just trying to figure out these positions. He pushes, which weakens the light squares, doesn't threaten anything, kind of protects the knight. It's fine. This knight's kind of in the way, so let's move it somewhere. Okay, let's just go to the center. Trades in effect are wins since we're up a pawn with a better structure. You're just liquidating to a winning endgame basically. Right now we're just improving a piece. Threaten to take the bishop pair. Threaten some trades if we want, but if anything we'll kick the knight probably. And just take over the diagonal and have a strong bishop. So he hits our queen, but I mean, what's that really going to do? It helps us improve our queen actually towards a better diagonal, so we thank him. If he pushes, you have b5, which would trap his bishop, but he's going to take your knight, of course. Unless he pushes, you intermezzo, knight takes bishop, hitting the queen. He does something to the knight, then b5. He can't take your knight. Trapped. Especially when you're low on time, it's helpful to have responses ready to your opponent's likely moves. So he goes here going for some type of, I don't know, checkmate, maybe? But that's not realistic. So first of all, I have a bishop here. I'm going to immediately solidify the light squares while kicking the queen away. And this should make it very clear to him that these two units coordinating don't actually do anything, so I don't need to give up my bishop, right? Because it's not dangerous. So I could still use this diagonal, so why give it up? Now, do I take his bishop? Well, his bishop's kind of trash right now, so no. So he moves his queen back. We can, without much thinking, just do this. Improving a piece for free because it can't be a bad move, and when you have 2 minutes, improving your pieces makes a lot of sense. White's, he has nothing to do. That's the whole thing. He has no plan. Like, can you improve this light square bishop or this knight or the queen? Not really. They're kind of where you want them, I guess. So he tries to improve his rook, but like, what is that? You know, like what is that move? Weird. I mean, you could go in here for some fun. You can go in here for some fun. I feel like this is just annoying to face. Like you don't want that bishop there. We could just trade a bunch of stuff if we want, but I'll just wait a little bit longer until my time gets a little lower. He goes here. It's all fine. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to go b5. It's just a funny move that activates my rook. Because my rooks aren't in the game. In order to activate them, what did he just do? Oh, he could have en passant and not lost a piece, but... Okay, so he just trades. Maybe he doesn't know about en passant. And how do we take back? This has a nice pawn center, but this helps the queen kind of get in the game better. I'm just going to take with the queen. You could take either way. I mean, I don't even have anything to do with this diagonal, with just a lone queen, but I'd still rather look at it than not look at it. His rook is currently hit. His pawn is currently hit. He moves the rook. We just solidify our bishop for fun, so it's defended in any tactical line. His rook has nowhere to go. It's essentially trapped the rest of the game. you could take even time out to do something like a6, which you obviously don't have to do, but I'm just proving a point that you can even, because one idea for him might be to push and then get your rook in that way, right? If he's using his creativity. But if we push, now his rook is literally stuck. His one possible creative idea of pushing the pawn, we stopped it. And what we're saying is that we actually have the time to do this because you have actually 0 attacking moves and 0 moves that do anything. This rook actually has no legal moves. This rook has no legal moves. It's not fun. So he creates legal moves, which is a good idea. And we're going to kick the knight since he took away that escape square from the knight. Also gives our bishop a nice hole. Prevents some h-file pressure. He goes here. I mean, we can start trading stuff if we want now. He is hitting our bishop. So I'm going to take that knight off the board and leave the bishop on the dark square bishop on the board. He hits our queen. We're down to a minute. Oh, shoot. Okay. Time to move quickly. Time to move quickly. So we're going to play something like f5 to close down the structure, cement every... Okay, he plays it first. Let's take. He takes. Let's get our queen active, and now we can get our rooks in the game somewhere. We're up a pawn. He can take here and get the pawn back. He doesn't do it. So we're going to recontrol and pin because he was threatening some type of taking of the pawn since, you know. Okay, we can go check and maybe pick up the bishop. How's our king looking there? I guess our king's fine if we take this way. Defends this. If he pushes, we can... Oh. Okay, that works. I still need to convert. With 30 seconds, that shouldn't be hard. I mean, now that he gave up his queen. Let's go here. 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 Check. Okay, let's x-ray that. His rook can't escape, which is funny. Okay. Sniper pieces. Long range pieces. Okay, let's go here and over defend. Now we can infiltrate with check and mate. Oof. I take so long explaining things. 10 minutes is not enough time for me to explain, to think, to do all this stuff. So let's go here. I don't know, let's give him another random check, so he has to go somewhere. Another random check, he has to go somewhere. I don't know, let's rook lift ladder checkmate him. That seems reasonable. I guess I'll pre-move it. Okay. We could just go here, take the rook with check. Well, maybe not check, depending where he goes. Okay, ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy. Okay, so we get the checkmate in the center of the board. King of the hill. For our first game with the Scandinavian, we checkmate white with their king in the center. That's what we like to see. Okay, let's go through the game. Our first official Scandinavian game. 94%. I mean, we have a bunch of inaccuracies, 4 inaccuracies, but no mistakes and no blunders. And that's what we like to see. We are not computers, so we'll take it. So we take the pawn. He hits us and force move. This is where we want our queen. We don't want to go back to d8, which some people play. we don't want to go to d6, we want to go to a5. The most popular and common and best move is d4 and then next move the knight out, but not sure if the move order matters. We just develop a knight towards the center. Again, he delays d4. A little weird. We go bishop f5. Now, if you do go bishop g4 and he plays h3, I mean, you could do that. Just the important thing is don't retreat your bishop because he will pawn storm you and gain initiative. If he kicks that bishop, you have to take the knight. So just keep that in mind. We go to f5. He just develops a piece. And now center and development. And now this is prophylaxis, semi-forced move, either now or next turn. Just avoiding any knight d5 stuff. Yeah, all the top 3 engine moves are queen moves, so they want you to prophylactically move it, so we move it. He chases us, but now this allows us to play the best move c5, which is a move we want to make anyway to control the center. We just generally do it a little later, but now if we can get it in, it's a really nice move. This move is just wrong, like weird. Development and center. Nothing crazy. And now, knight in the center, physically obstructing. We have our ideas. If you don't want to move the same piece twice, there's this move a6, which covers the b5 square, which is interesting. Your queen can go to c7. You could follow up with b5 pawn storm, maybe b4 if it helps you at some point. So let's say a6, knight h4, queen c7, and now you're threatening the fork. If he tries to pick up the pawn, you take the knight, he takes, and because of his dumb b3 move, his bishop's trapped. So basically a6 prepares an eventual b5, which would trap the bishop in a lot of lines. So they like a6. Otherwise, they're like, just go to queen c7 and avoid knight a4 altogether. We move the knight in the center to try to avoid knight a4 that way. Now, if he does knight a4, which is a move still, you just go queen c7. The pawn is defended. He can't push d4, and the position's still equal. So we had to be a little careful here. This was a weird position. It's not even like a normal Scandi. So we're kind of just winging it. So we throw our knight in the center. He plays a4. And is this a move? It's actually the best move. Wow. It's actually a lot better than bishop e7. They still recommend a6 as the other move, which is weird to me now that he has a4 in. But it does defend against the square. So it is a useful move. So bishop g4 is the best. Then a6, then bishop e7. So we play this move again because this pin should lead to some type of disaster or concession. I thought he was just going to give up the bishop, which he should do, so that we don't double his pawns and ruin and just win the game. So he's supposed to take. We're supposed to take. He's going to move, I don't know, his knight somewhere, like here in the center, let's say. And we just take over the dark squares. We have a pin. It's fine. He's going to trade. He's probably going to think that it's such a good thing for him. But these aren't double isolated. We have this e-pawn, which always makes this a much nicer construction. And it's even connected one day with the d-pawn. So it's a pawn mass. Also, it opens up towards his king, and this could be devastating. So anyway, I digress. What were we doing? He plays his pawn. We improve a piece for free because this is an important threat. Then he ignores that important threat. And engine says taking either way is exactly the same evaluation. We choose this because it seems to pick up a pawn with tempo. So why not? He moves his rook. And again, Engine's top move. He really likes a6. Just taking control over this b5 square since he has two minor pieces to try to abuse it. Um, Fair enough. Second best move, bishop e7, which is what we play. Okay, he jumps in the center. King safety development. Our rooks are connected. We're up a pawn. And we're -1, which is the pawn we're up. So it makes sense. Okay, force move because he was under attack. Now it says we're completely winning with h6. I figured h6, he'll just retreat. I mean, what's... Okay, I mean, I don't even want to go down that line. Our move's good too. We just improve a piece for free. Semi-bluffing that we're going to take the bishop. We're not actually going to take it. Force move, improving our queen. Not forced, but we're clearly improving a piece for free. Improving a piece for free, -2. Improving a piece for free. This was just a funny move to activate the rook. The idea was, I thought he was going to en passant, and then we're going to take with the pawn, which also allows for our future b5, but more importantly, just opens up the rook play to access his stuff. Because before that, look at our rooks, how are they getting in the game, right? So I thought, and it's actually the best move, believe it or not. Nice. Well, it keeps switching with bishop f5, but why are we going to chase the queen back and forth? We just did that. So we play b5. It's the coolest move by far. But then he takes the knight, which I wasn't expecting. E takes d5. Like, the pawn taking is very principled. I just wanted to get some activity. It's more pseudo activity with the queen because you don't actually control these squares at all. Maybe even queen f5 is the only real idea that comes with it. And taking with the pawn makes a lot of sense. But we took with the queen, whatever. He moves his rook because it was hanging. Now we just improve the position and kind of just cement the bishop. You don't need to do that, but whatever. This was just a funny move to show you that he's never going to activate his rooks. Yeah, the engine doesn't list it, but it also doesn't care. It's the same evaluation as the top moves. And here we're just trying to restrict his most active piece and kick it away. He goes there. And clearly you don't have to do this. You don't have to initiate trades. You can try to maximize the mathematical value of your position. But if you have a minute on your clock, you definitely don't want to do that. You definitely don't want a knight hopping around the board with threats that you need to calculate. So we take. He takes. Now this does improve his position, yes, but we still know that we're much better. And with a minute, this will be easier to convert than with the knight on the board. So we go back. We would have stayed, more active if we could, but all the squares just happen to be covered. Okay, it says this is a blunder, but it looks extremely natural because if he doesn't play it, I'm doing it next. And then his attack is like stopped cold. My rook has access. My queen has access. So I completely understand why he would play it. We just take it to open up more lines because we have all long range pieces, so and no knights, so open lines will help all of our pieces. He takes, and now we have two rooks that aren't in the game. A queen that's, I mean, it's active, but it's blocking the rooks and also needs to be more in the game. So we start with the queen. We're -4, -5, just completely crushing because we also have a bind, right? Where our position is fully cemented, so there's nothing for him to do. And then you say like, okay, there's a pawn here, but look at everything else. There's nothing else that he can do beyond taking this one pawn, right? Our position's like 100% glued and supported. So we're gonna move the rook or something, and he has no play. Let's say he takes, saying, oh, maybe I can make a draw, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The pawns are even, the material's even. Maybe I can, isn't this a draw type thing? No, remember, this guy's stuck for eternity because of our a6 move. So it's -7. Why? Because It's as if he's down a rook, that's 5 points. And then his king is just super exposed. So that's more. Plus, we have a deep freeze on his pawns. This one pawn is stopping three. Of course, I mean, it has help, but still. So these are as if they don't exist. This pawn doesn't exist. Like, his position is terrible. He only has a queen and a bishop. Everything else on the board doesn't exist. Whereas we have a queen, a rook, and a bishop. And who cares if our pawns don't exist, right? In that scenario, we still have the rook, and he doesn't. So anyway, he doesn't go for taking this pawn. He probably didn't even see it. He just goes for activity, thinking, I'm going to take this pawn, and if the queen takes, I'll take the queen because of the pin. So, yes, this bishop is nice, but we're also completely winning if we go bishop d4. So we choose this because it pins the bishop, meaning none of his tactics work anymore. He moves the king so that the tactics work again. And then I notice this opportunity that I can double attack the bishop. Queen e5 check, best move. He moves away. And you could take with either piece. I don't know why I took with the bishop. It's even weirder, but I just kind of auto took with 38 seconds. And then he hangs a queen, which obviously is not good. We throw in some weird sequence of checks. I mean, we have a couple things in the rook. So we just use a combination of random checks and tactical ideas. Give him a bunch of random checks. Try to improve our pieces with the threats. He hangs some more stuff, and that's all she wrote. So this was a really fun pseudo Scandinavian game. He didn't play d4, so we'll call it a d3 one, which we're going to see, so we'll have to adjust. Okay, hopefully you're as excited for this speedrun as I am. Submit your rapid games in my Discord so we can review them. Good luck in your chess and goodbye.